Martin Shkreli is the CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals, which is a pharmaceutical company that just recently purchased a drug known as Daraprim and raised the price from $13.50 per tablet to a whopping $750 per tablet. Now, this is a drug that's supposed to treat those who have a parasitic infection. So he raised the price for that, and of course, many people were upset about it, including Hillary Clinton, who tweeted about it and said that price gouging like this is something that's outrageous. Tomorrow, I'll lay out a plan to take it on. So she's basically going to go after this, and she's not going to allow people to price gouge, especially pharmaceutical companies, should she get elected as president of the U.S. So interestingly enough, CBS interviews him, and they want to get his take on this. And here's what Shkreli had to say. Take a look.
Why was it necessary to raise the price of Daraprim so drastically?
Well, it depends on how you define so drastically, because the drug was unprofitable at the former price. So any company selling it would be losing money. And at this price, it's a reasonable profit, not excessive at all.
Daraprim was developed in 1953 as a treatment for toxoplasmosis, an infection caused by a parasite. It comes from eating undercooked meat or drinking contaminated water and affects those with compromised immune systems, like AIDS and cancer patients. When Turing Pharmaceuticals raised the price of Daraprim to $750 per tablet last month, the average cost of treatment for patients rose from about $1,130 to $63,000. For certain patients, the cost can run as high as $634,000. This particular drug is used by a small but vulnerable group of patients, so you see how greedy this move looks.
Yeah, I could see how it looks greedy, but I think there's a lot of altruistic properties to it.
Altruistic?
Absolutely.
In what way?
Yeah, so one example is that this is a disease where there hasn't been one pharmaceutical company focused on it for 70 years. We are now a company that is dedicated to the treatment and cure of toxoplasmosis. And with these new profits, we can spend all of that upside on these patients who sorely need a new drug, in my opinion.
I guarantee you he will not make any new drug.
He's not going to make a new drug. And also, you know, there was an official in that interview who made a really great point. He said, even if he's not lying and he's planning on using the profits to create a new drug, A, we don't need a new drug because this drug for toxoplasmosis works fine. Okay, there are no issues there. And B, even if you needed to develop a new drug that's even more effective, you shouldn't be taxing the current victims of this disease or this infection. Right? You're supposed to only charge them for what they need in order to survive or in order to fight whatever infection they have. That's a great point that I wish I thought of yesterday.
Yeah, so it was a terrific report by CBS there. Credit for them for interviewing him and then giving the context for how much it actually costs people. Now, if you don't have health insurance, you're done. I mean, he's going to bankrupt you. You got this disease, he's going to bankrupt. He's going to take every dollar you have in your pocket. And then if you run out and you can't afford it anymore, I don't know what happens to you then.
Yeah, what happens to you? And by the way, this is not the first time that he's done this. So he used to be the CEO of a different pharmaceutical company. And while he was the CEO, they actually bought the rights to a drug that helps those who have kidney disease. It helps those who get kidney stones regularly, right? And so he buys the drug, and then he takes the price from $1 per tablet to $30 per tablet. And so people who would pay typically around $50,000 for this treatment all of a sudden end up paying well over $100,000. So this is not his first time doing it. And remember, he didn't really get a lot of negative press when he did it that time. The reason why he's getting negative press this time around is because the price gouging is so outrageous, from $13.50 per tablet to $750 a tablet, that people, of course, are raising red flags.
And in this case, that pill, when GlaxoSmithKline was marketing it just back in 2009, not that long ago, was only $1. Now it's $750. Look, I'm a capitalist. Some people get annoyed when I say that, but I believe in the markets. I believe in the free markets. I believe they also have to be regulated so that you don't have monopolies, just like Adam Smith said, right? And what I don't believe is unfettered capitalism, where there are no rules. Because then, you know who doesn't like cops on the beat, whether it's, you know, cops in a literal sense or cops on the market? The robbers. The robbers love it when you take away the cops, right? So now we've gotten to a place where it's basically anarchy. There are no rules, right? So guys like this come in and go, well, if you're not going to regulate a goddamn thing and people's lives depend on this pill, then I'm going to charge whatever the hell I want to charge. And I'm going to take all the profit, I'm going to put it in my pocket, and if you can't afford it and you die because of it. That's your problem, not my problem. Welcome to unfettered capitalism, unchecked capitalism, where there are no rules.
I love stories like this, not because it's a good story, it's obviously a terrible story, but it proves how important regulation is, right? Because there are people who believe in the free market system with no regulation whatsoever. They think anarchy makes all the sense in the world because the free market is going to decide what happens with these pharmaceutical companies, with these corporations. People are smart, people are not inherently evil, they're not greedy, and so they're going to do the right thing. No, that's not the case at all, okay? These corporations and pharmaceutical companies have no morality whatsoever. When it comes to a bottom line, they're going to do whatever is necessary to turn a profit. And that's exactly what's happening here. You need the regulations to keep them in check.
Even if you had a libertarian utopia, which you most certainly don't, there's no other company that's going to develop this drug. He's not going to develop a second drug. He's just going to keep charging this for as long as he can get away with it, no matter what the cost in lives and well-being is. But even if you had the libertarian utopia and because they see he's overcharging, somebody else jumps into the market and creates a competitor drug and then charges less for it, what, $250, $500? Even in the libertarian utopia, you'd probably charge $749 instead of $750. Okay, let's say that competition whittled down the price eventually, right? In the meanwhile, how many lives did we lose? How many people did we bankrupt? How many lives did we ruin, even if they didn't die?
Yeah.
How long did that process take? 1 year, 5 years, 20 years? If it ever happens at all. And in the meanwhile, well, look, you should have known better, the free market. But no, that drug saves their life. Other drugs don't save their life. They do know better. They would like an alternative. They don't have an alternative. Yeah. No, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The free market will figure it out after all of you are dead. No, free market is right, okay? But we have perverted the free markets by taking away all boundaries, all regulation, all reason. And so now what we have left is not free markets. We have crony capitalism and anarchy. That's what we have left.